Good morning, everyone. Chris Prophy, musically obsessed. And what I'd like to talk about today is some Broadway musicals that I like. And if you follow my channel already, you're going to notice that I listen to everything. Metal, punk, country, folk music, and also Broadway. And one of my favorite composers is Stephen Sondheim. And I'm going to talk about 4 of my favorite shows of his, and they happen to be the 4 vinyl albums that I have as well. So the first album I want to talk about is Follies. And this is what the record looks like on the Capitol label. Follies came out in 1971. And it's music and lyrics by Stephen Sondheim and a book by James Goldman. Now, the story is about a reunion of past performers that come back, and they're doing it in this Broadway theater that's like literally crumbling apart around them, and it's going to be set for demolition soon. It's about 2 couples, Buddy and Sally, and Ben and Phyllis, and they're both unhappy in their marriages. And the story kind of revolves around the 4 of them, looking back to when they first started performing when they were younger, to events in the middle of their lives, to the way things are in the present. And all the songs revolve around that, of course, and the affairs and the love interests and regrets. It's all of those themes in this show. Some songs that I really like. I like Waiting for the Girls Upstairs. I like The Road You Didn't Take. In Buddy's Eyes, sung by Sally. Could I Leave You, which is a very powerful song sung by the character Phyllis. The God, Why Don't You Love Me Blues, which is an upbeat, really fast song that I really like, sung by the character of Buddy. And then probably my favorite song on the album is a song called Losing My Mind, and that's sung by the character of Sally. And she's singing it about her love interest in Ben, who she's fell in love with when she was younger, and she has kind of carried that love throughout her life, and it's almost literally driven her crazy because she cannot have him. And that's what the song's about. It comes towards the end of the show, and it's a very, very powerful song, and it's definitely one of my favorites in the show. So if you like Sondheim, but you haven't listened to Follies yet, definitely check that out. All right, next. 1973, A Little Night Music. There's the front cover. And this is on CBS Records. Kind of a grayish label. There's the cover again. Just love that cover. This is, again, music and lyrics by Stephen Sondheim. This time the book is by Hugh Wheeler. And this is based on Ingmar Bergman's Smiles of a Summer Night. I'm not familiar with that, but that's what it's based on. This takes place in 1900 in Sweden. And it's, again, centered around love interests and affairs. You have this actress named Desiree, a lawyer named Frederick, and the Count. And in the show, Desiree comes back to perform in the town that Frederick lives in, and it kind of rekindles their relationship. Unfortunately, Frederick is married. Desiree already is in a relationship with the Count, and the Count is married. So it's sort of like a big love conundrum, if you will. And they all decide to meet in the country at Desiree's for a weekend, and you can imagine the events that would happen after that. But this is definitely another one of my favorite Sondheim shows. Some songs I like on here. I like Now, Later, Soon, which is like a 10-minute long song, very well written by Sondheim. The Glamorous Life. You Must Meet My Wife. Every Day a Little Death, which you should look up the meaning of that phrase, every day a little death. It's got a very interesting meaning to it, but I love that song. Weekend of the Country, which is an upbeat song. It just gets stuck in your head. The Miller's Son, which is such a great song. And then the one that everybody knows from this show, Send in the Clowns, which is definitely top 5 Sondheim for me. Everybody has covered the song Send in the Clowns. It's just a beautiful, beautiful song. But that's a little night music. And then, turning the page here. From 1976, Pacific Overtures. That cover just grabs you. This is on RCA Red Seal label. There is no musical like Pacific Overtures. It's very unique. This is, again, music and lyrics by Sondheim. Book by John Weidman. And this is set in Japan in 1853, and it is about the westernization of Japan. So, again, just right then and there, like, who writes a musical about the westernization of Japan? Sondheim does. This is told from the point of view of the Japanese, and it's really centered around 2 friends that tell this story. I've never seen Pacific Overtures. I saw Follies and I saw A Little Night Music. I've never seen this show. And probably the reason I've never seen it is because it's hard to perform. Obviously, you need a Japanese cast. And there's also a lot of traditional Japanese instruments that were worked into the musical score by Sondheim that you need people who know how to play. So, you know, those 2 things combined make this kind of a difficult musical to do, but it's a shame, and I hope to see it sometime soon. The music from the show is awesome. I love the advantages of floating in the middle of the sea. I like Four Black Dragons, which is about the Japanese seeing the American ships coming in and referring to them as 4 Black Dragons. Chrysanthemum Tea is such a great song. The song Someone in a Tree is definitely a top 5 song for me from Sondheim, and I read somewhere that is actually Sondheim's favorite song that he wrote. So correct me if I'm wrong on that one, but I think I read that somewhere, that the song Someone in a Tree is his favorite. And then I also like the song A Bowler Hat. So Pacific Overtures, definitely an awesome album. A show that I definitely want to see at some point. And the last musical I want to talk about, this came out in 1981, Merrily We Roll Along. And this is on the RCA Red Seal label. And I actually have seen this too. So I saw Follies, I saw A Little Night Music, and I've seen Merrily We Roll Along. I've also seen Sweeney Todd, I've seen Assassins. I've been in a production of Into the Woods, a local community theater production. I actually played the part of Rapunzel's prince, so I sang the song Agony. But this is definitely another favorite of mine. This came out in 1981. This is, again, music and lyrics by Sondheim. This time the book is by George Firth, and it's based on the 1934 play of the same name. I am not familiar with that play. Sondheim updated it to the years from 1956 to 1976. And the basic idea, it's about this Broadway composer named Franklin Shepard. And he started out as a Broadway composer, and then he kind of worked his way into Hollywood films. And it starts in 1976, and it moves backwards in time, and it kind of shows you what led Franklin Shepard to losing a lot of his friends and what led to, you know, his path to Hollywood. It's a very interesting story. It did not do very well, as a lot of Sondheim shows did when it first opened on Broadway, but it definitely has gained cult status and has become a lot of Sondheim fans' favorite musical, and I can see why. Some songs that I really like from this show: I love Old Friends. I love the song Not a Day Goes By. Good Thing Going, which is a great song. I also like Frank Sinatra's version of that song. And then Our Time. So a lot of great music from this show. If I was going to rate these 4 albums, well, as I told you, these 4 are my favorite Sondheim musicals. If I was going to rate them, because I've been listening to them a lot lately, actually, I'd probably have to say, out of these 4, A Little Night Music is number 1 for me. And then Pacific Overtures, number 2. Follies, number 3. And Merrily We Roll Along, 4. So if you only know Stephen Sondheim for Sweeney Todd and Into the Woods, definitely check out these other shows. I'd be interested to know what your thoughts are. If you like this video, share it, subscribe, and just let me know your thoughts. Thank you.